Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast, a space for nurturing the ecosystem of business, body, and living. What would it be like if you gave your body a leadership role in your business and chose greater happiness every day? These are the conditions that create a healthy biome and a thriving business. I'm your host, Heather Nichols, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. We're doing a little mini 4-part series right now on this podcast about being an athlete in your business. And I kind of introduced the topic last week, and from that sprung a three-part kind of continuing conversation about the different aspects of that and how we can really exponentialize what we're creating from that sense of the healthy biome, and create a real sense of like focus and clarity and purpose and direction with what we're doing, how we're doing it, where we're going, and all of that great stuff. And so the three kind of elements that came out of that podcast are in being an athlete in your business and the business of your life and living, we're getting clear on the future that you would like to create, being willing to be and receive more every day, and having the systems in your business and the people in your business to accommodate the exponentialization of what it is that you're asking for. So today I'm going to dive in a little bit to clarity and getting clear on your future that you'd like to have, what your asks are, and then we'll go into the other elements in future in the next two podcast episodes. And this episode is going to air, I believe, I could be wrong, so we'll see, but I believe it's going to air right before, like an hour or two before, a series that I'm doing, a 2-part Zoom series called Getting Clear for the New Year. So you can, that's going to be December 27th and 28th in 2023. You might be watching this years down the road, but it'll be in my shop if it's not, if it's past. And you can, find out more about that on my website, heathernichols.com. But I'd like to give sort of a prelude to that if possible today. So we'll see where we go. The thing about clarity is that I talked last week about figure skating and how at age 49, about 3.5 years ago, I took up figure skating, and it was kind of out of the blue. And I really had to learn some different energies about being an athlete, because I really wanted to actually be good at it. Like I wanted to be able to do a lot of things that looked like fun to me. It wasn't really about performing or competing. It was like, there's so many things I want to be able to do on the ice, and my body wanted to do them, but I just didn't know how. I didn't have the skill. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the coordination and the balance and the power and the elegance to be able to do those things. And so I had to really start where I was and start to look at like, okay, well, what do I need to learn, and who can teach me, and how much do I need to practice? And that started to show me a really different level of athleticism that I had ever known. Even, as somebody who's been very active, athletic my whole life, it was to have a level of mastery with figure skating, being that it is very much a precision sport. It required something different of me than I'd ever been willing to choose before. And I started to apply that to my business and realize, wow, I actually, there's a level of mastery and success and creation, really. Success is kind of a interesting word in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of judgment wound into the energy of success for a lot of people. But really a sense of like the creation, the creative potency that I want to be in the world, and the level of contribution that I would like to give to the world, and the level of income I would like to have, like all of those pieces, which to me are very related, very much part of the biome. It was like that to me more and more every day does have this similar sense of like requiring me to be an athlete in my business. And so I started to, really bring the lessons and the awarenesses that I was having on the ice into my business, and let the whole biome grow as a result of skating. And I still do all the time. Skating shows me so many things about the elegance and power of creation. Every time I get my blades under me and start gliding around, so much awareness pops up for me about a lot of different things in regards to creation. And so with that, it was like, okay, so I'd like to get really good at skating. Well, what would I like to get good at? Because I would train in a very different way. And I say figure skating, but for me, actually, what I realized that it was more ice dancing. And, most people don't really even know what the difference is, which, I didn't either until my body was like, I want to skate. Figure skating is, it involves a lot of jumping. So you see, of course, what we all know, basically what most people think of when they think of figure skating or skating, ice skating is figure skating rather than dancing. There's jumping, there's like one of the biggest distinctions is there's jumping. And I don't just mean you come up off the ice and you go down, but you do the triple, quadruple, all those turns and spins and in the air and ice dancers don't jump. And ice dancers are they're more like kind of wide and curvy, and it's more about really like dancing on the ice. It has more of a dramatic effect. There's more play. There's more leeway with certain things. There's more edging, like there's more curvy edges and things like that. So it's less. It's just kind of a different kind of precision, really. But the thing is that I had to be clear with my coaches on where I was going with this, and I had one coach that would coach me, kind of like a 14-year-old girl that wanted to be in the Olympics, and I was like, okay, I'm 50. I just am having fun here, I'm not interested in jumping. I mean, when you jump, I always say, like, as an ice skater, when you jump, you spend a lot of time on the ice down. You spend a lot of time falling. I wasn't interested in that. So it's like, I'm not interested in jumping. I'm more interested in ice dancing. As I got into it and I realized, oh, this is way more what is fun for me. That's what I want to be doing. Well, then even I had to change my coach, because my coach he had some awareness of ice dancing, but he was used to teaching competitive girls who were figure skaters. And so it was like, well, that wasn't quite appropriate. So let's switch over to a different coach. And so it was clear, like, this is what I'm shooting for with this, And so this is the kind of support I'd like to provide for myself. But the thing is, if I just went into it and I was like, I want to be a good skater, well, okay, what does that mean? And so if you look at that with your business and your life and everything that you're creating, it's like, well, what are you creating? Maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a facilitator of access consciousness, or, some modality where you're helping people and you're doing workshops and things like that. It's like, well, what are you creating? What is the change that you would like to see in the world? Or what is the gift that you would like to give to the world? Maybe you're not in business to create a gift to the world. Maybe it's something different. Maybe you would like to solve problems for people, or maybe you just really want to make a lot of money, and that's not wrong. None of those things are wrong. And that's one of the places where we actually inhibit our clarity is when we go to the judgment of what is the right, good, perfect, and correct thing to do and the wrong thing to do, based on some random judgment that isn't probably even our judgment. And so a lot of times, you might be like, well, okay. Like one of the things that happened for me is I kind of, when I started facilitating access consciousness 13 years ago, I had a huge arsenal of really phenomenal tools that in helping people resolve trauma through their body and with their body in their lives. And I was a movement facilitator. Like I had worked with bodies really intensively for a decade already or more. Yeah, it was kind of 13 years as well. And I kind of threw it out. Like I didn't throw it away, but I kind of was like, well, none of this work really applies to what I'm doing now. So I'm just going to let that be in my past, And, but I wasn't, so then it was just kind of like, well, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do classes, but that's there's a limited, clarity, like the clarity of where I was going and what I'd like to create limited. And also, there was judgment that, I didn't realize was there. I was judging what I did before, because what I had found with access consciousness was so much more dynamic for me. And I was seeing with my clients that it was so much more dynamic for them. And so I kind of judged what I had done before as not as valuable or effective. And I judged access as, the better way to do things. And I was like, well, I'm just going to do that, But what happened is I really let go of this massive arsenal of amazing tools and awareness and gifts and all of that I really have brought back and forward into my world now and my career and everything that I do with people. And that was part of the birth of this podcast too, was, hey, let's do all of it. I'm going to do all of it, Now that was a clarity. That was a clarity of an ask for me of, okay, I like to bring all of my gifts, even more than I ever have before. I'd like to have more, I'd like to express more of the uniqueness of me, the uniqueness of what I bring. I love working one-on-one with people. I'd like to be doing more one-on-one work with people. I really like to bring the body into everything that I do. And so then I started to look at, well, how can I do that? If I facilitate business and I facilitate, some conversations around neurodiversity and I facilitate body, how do I make all of that into a cohesive, brilliant offering into the world? But I had to get clear first that that's what I desired to do. And then from that desire, the clarity of desire that didn't have the judgment of any of it, then I could actually go, okay, well, what's true for me here? What would I like to create with this? Well, the world I would like to see is a world where people have communion with their bodies, where they see their body as a massive resource. They are with their bodies and with the earth, and have communion with the earth, and allow those elements to guide their creative reality, their relational reality, their financial and monetary reality, their reality, with family and all of our relationships, and into something greater for them and for the world. So there's a clarity there that I started to get around all of the things that I was doing, and I could ask for what I desired in a different way. And then also, well, how would I like to do this? Well, and I developed a beautiful offering that we're going to launch in 2024 called Your Body as Your Business Partner. There's going to be some 1-day classes and some 2.5-day classes and some private work with me that people can do around that. And so that started to move, and the Entrepreneurial Biome, and I have a book that I've been working on. So all of these creations started to really come alive when I let go of the judgments of what was, what wasn't, what has to be, what can't be, what should be. I allowed myself to bring all of me to the table and was like, this is what I would like to create. And a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to have the clarity that we already have, because we don't think it's going to work, or we don't see how, and for me, it's been a big conversation, because I'm like, okay, I really love playing with business and bodies, creation and bodies, how do I do that in a way that makes sense to people? And I realized that this is a conversation that I am pioneering. And so people don't have a context for it in a lot of ways. I get to bring what I get to bring. And when I got clear on that, it was like, great. So I'm introducing a lot of people to a different conversation that they might have never considered around bodies and business, their body and their business and their entrepreneurial biome. I get to create that and introduce people to that and bring people along and pioneer the conversation and allow other people to contribute along the way and, add to it and all of those things. And so, but I had to get out of the how of, well, how am I going to make all this work in a cohesive way? Well, I'm going to design it in a way that is, based on what I know. But I wouldn't be able to do any of that. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of what I've done. And I would say this really started to build momentum for me in the past 6 months. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that had I not had the clarity of, this is what I'd like to create. This is what I'd like to see as a world, as a future for all of us. And this is the world I would like to live in. And I'm not going to shy away from creating it anymore. I'm going to choose it, and I'm going to allow the awareness to show up. And the awareness will show up because of the clarity that I have on where I would like to go. And then the universe can come in and contribute all kinds of things. It's like, if I want to be an ice dancer, I need to be coached as an ice dancer. I need to practice as an ice dancer. And I can add to it what I add to it and evolve the sport, even if it's just for me, which I am doing, because I'm bringing a lot of my own awareness of my movement to what I do on the ice. But if I want to be an ice dancer and I'm being coached as a figure skater, that doesn't work. I want to go here, but I'm on a road that takes me here. So the clarity is really a huge piece. It's kind of the first step, and you'll have more clarity as you go. Always. You'll always have more clarity down the road. And so it's not about getting anything right. And it's also not about defining it so much that it becomes then impossible for it to show up. It's actually about, okay, this is the clarity that I have right now. I'm going to ask for this, and I'm going to move in the direction of it. And now, the other elements of being an athlete in your business, the willing to be and receive more, and the support with your systems and your staff, those two conversations will come in the next 2 podcasts. So stay tuned in for that. And, if you want to jump on the getting clear in the new year, you can ask questions. We can be interactive. That is starting December 27th, the day this podcast probably is going to air. That will, heathernichols.com. If you go to the events page, you'll see it there. If you'd like to get the recording of it later, you can look in my shop. This all also, I mentioned this last week, but this all is also this is like a snapshot of some of the way bigger conversations that we have in my Generative Business Pods 6-month business program that starts about every 6 months. It depends on the moment, but there is one beginning January 22nd, 2024, and we are going to be really diving into magic, engaging the elementals, which are the energetic building blocks of miraculous creation. I'm really excited about this one coming up, and you're invited to that too. Also can be located on my website. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for listening, for tuning in to these very different conversations. And I wish you all a beautiful day. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. For more resources, check out my website at heathernichols.com and my social media channels as well. Have a beautiful day, and remember that your business thrives when you do.